So I get it. Because of recent events, many of us are prone to go into fear and sadness and bewilderment. It's absolutely stunning that so much hatred and vitriol and all is in America, and that so many people have really been, there's been a check mark, an okay sign that it is okay to completely display your racism and your bigotry and your homophobia and your misogyny and all those other things, your transphobia. That has become okay. That has become socially acceptable to do that. Now we have to decide what we're going to do about it. The most important thing to realize is that when you step into fear, when you allow fear to be your main motivator, you're not activating your entire brain, your entire mind, all of your wisdom and all of your knowledge. You're going back to your base amygdala, and that part of your brain is fright or flight. And most of the choices that you'll make from that part of your brain are not going to serve you long term. So to all of my allies, queer people, anyone who feels disenfranchised in some way or the other, it's time for us to really play up to our strengths. The great thing about people who are not heteronormative or don't fit into the box of normality by society is that we've always had to think outside the box. We've never had a clear-cut definition of what life is or how to live it. So we're already wired to think in different ways, to come up with different solutions, to not just go down the route of the per se or what has been done in the past. We've always had to forge a new path. And now it's time for us to forge a new path as well. My little brother, who was heavily handicapped, passed away a week ago today. And what is so interesting to me when I think about his life, there were so few, if any, choices he could make. There, like the last year of his life, literally he couldn't even hardly move. So when you think about how disenfranchised and disabled and how he didn't have so many choices that we have to make, and yet he lived fully in every single moment. He never let fear, he never let himself feel like he was less than. He just lived in every moment. And that's what we need to do. We need to learn, we need to focus on, we need to imagine how we can live in the moment, in the present moment. Because when we're in fear, we're worried about the future. And yes, there's probably some not great things happening. But if you can't do anything about it right here at this moment, there's nothing physically that you can do to fix that. It does you absolutely no good to sit in that stew of fear and worry. It's definitely, obviously, very important to be aware and to make preparations. But those preparations are to get physically fitter, emotionally fitter, spiritually fitter, mentally fitter, financially fitter. It's time for us as queer people to be as strong as we possibly can. I certainly understand people who are now getting passports, and I have my passport ready too. But that is the last thing. That's the last option. Our main option needs to be to make ourselves as strong and as powerful. If you're like me, or even if you're, I'm just going to say I am a natural-born American citizen, and that's a great privilege, and many of you listening probably are too. And no other American has the right to tell us. That's the way American citizens are. It's the American way. It's what's supposed to happen. And if we stand firm in that, we have the right to be authentic and true. And I'll tell you, it's the story that changes people's minds. It's the authenticity that changes people's minds. And that's what I'm challenging myself to do, is to be more authentic, be more upfront and more true to who I am and how I feel. Many times I tell people It's about the power of love. And it's interesting that so many people think that that's a point of weakness. I'll tell you, love is the most powerful, and it is the hardest spot to be in. When you have to find a way to love people unconditionally, that is not easy. That is not the road to ease. It's the road of the warrior. So I want to start a revolution of love. And when I'm talking about love, Mama Bear loves her cubs. And you come over those cubs and she'll tear your face off. And that's what love looks like too. So I don't really know what I'm calling people out to. I'm just calling, I guess, myself out to find a way to step into that. Find a way to step into the present moment. Find a way to step into unconditional love, first for myself and then others. And then just find a way to be authentic and true. And to understand that I am more powerful as a person, as a being connected to the universe, which I believe we all are. I am more powerful in that than any other human being on earth. There is no human being on earth that has the power and dominion over me unless I give it to them. And I will not give it to them. And I ask you to do the same. Understand how powerful you are right here in this present moment. I hope that reaches someone. I hope it reaches me. And until later, love, peace, and release.